Welcome to the 111 Approach podcast, your go-to space for deep thoughts, real talk, and exploration of everything from spirituality to self-development and the mysteries of life with some light-hearted humour along the way. I'm your host, Lakshmi, aka the 1 Minute Healer, and each episode will dive into different topics, sometimes personal, sometimes thought-provoking, but always authentic. So whether you're here for some new perspectives, inspiration, or just a fresh take on the world with a bit of randomness thrown into the mix, you're definitely in the right place. So what are you waiting for? Let's get into it. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the 111 Approach podcast with me, Lakshmi, your 1 Minute Healer. So today's episode is all about something that I get asked quite a lot. But before we get into it, I always start my episodes and end my episodes with gratitude. So thank you so much for being here. If it's your first time here, why are you starting on episode 7? Go and start at number 1. Actually, no, I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. You can start wherever you want. But if you are a regular listener, thank you for coming back. So this is an episode I've been meaning to do for a while. And the reason I've chosen to call this episode What the Fuck is Reiki? Because that's pretty much the reaction I would get when about 10 years ago I was talking about it, because that's when I first got introduced to Reiki. And I was also like, what the fuck is Reiki? So I got asked that a lot. Finally, I think it's safe to say at least I'd say 50 to 60% of people that I talk to have come across the term Reiki now. I think since the pandemic and being in lockdown, a lot of holistic therapies came to the surface because people realized and recognized how important mental health is. I'm just going to come out and say it. A lot of trust was lost in healthcare systems and healthcare providers. I know it's affected my outlook on how we kind of put our faith into these physicians and healthcare providers. And at the end of the day, they are still just human, but yet we give them so much power and control over our own health. And it's always good to get guidance and advice. But at the end of the day, we know our bodies. Well, we should start to learn to know our bodies better than anyone else, because it's the only thing that we truly ever own. It's our body. And I think from my own experiences, seeing how poor my dad's care was, even before lockdown happened, I don't really want to go into it because it's still a little bit traumatic for me to relive it and go through it. And maybe one day I'll be strong enough to talk about it without breaking down. But he wasn't looked after. I'm just, sorry for doctors who are listening to this, but I'm not trying to paint everyone with the same brush. I would never do that, because there are people that are good at their job and love it and do it with a passion. And there's people that aren't so good at their job because they don't do it with love and passion. And that's in every single industry, including the one I'm in as well. Which is why I'm always really passionate about making sure people don't get scammed, because I got scammed twice, not once, twice, for a lot of money. And, I'm on a mission now to make sure that doesn't happen to other people, because when you're in a vulnerable state, people can take advantage of you. And, when it comes to not being well, we are at probably the most vulnerable, because you're relying on people to give you all this help. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here. Sorry. Bringing it back round to Reiki. So what was I saying? Yes. During lockdown, like I said, people came more in tune with what they needed for their health and their well-being. And they found that, this shift towards traditional holistic therapies. So now, I guess, when I say Reiki, most people have heard of that term. Reiki actually is a Japanese word. It translates to universal conscious life force energy. Now, although that's a Japanese word, the technique is based on ancient Tibetan Buddhism techniques, which work on the knowledge that everything in the universe is actually energy, and that everything has a conscious life force energy that runs through it, and it connects everything, and we are all connected through this sort of thread of energy. Now, when you think of it, you might think, that's a bit weird. How is everything connected? But actually, I'm going to hit you with some science here, because your girl has a science degree and used to work in the medical field. So it was when I understood the science behind it all that it actually made sense to this skeptical mind of mine. Now, modern science has proven, and we all know, that absolutely everything in the universe is made up of atoms. And atoms themselves are 99.99999% space is held together by forces. So an atom, as small as it is actually largely made up of energy forces. So everything is essentially vibrating and giving off some form of frequency, even though it seems and appears like solid matter. So even something as dense as the device that you're using to listen to my podcast, maybe your phone or laptop, I don't know how else you listen to podcasts. How else do you listen? Just phone and laptop, really, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, it appears solid, but actually, if you looked at it under a microscope, you'd see a bunch of tightly packed atoms vibrating and emitting some kind of frequency waves. And we as humans are the same, right? So we have chemicals running through as hormones. We've got neurotransmitters running from our brain. We've got electrical impulses that our heart sends out. So modern science has been able to measure this, and we actually emit biomagnetic field of energy around the physical body. This is sometimes called an aura, so you may have heard that word knocking around. And basically, without going too deep into it, this aura or our biomagnetic field is affected by our experiences, our emotions, our situations, even our thoughts, because everything has a frequency. Everything affects this energy field around us and thus affects our environment, because essentially we are all connected by energy. If you want to learn more about it, I strongly urge you to look up the science behind all this stuff. It's absolutely fascinating, and you could go down this rabbit hole of quantum physics and how it's all entanglement theory and all these weird and wonderful things. And they do say the science is stranger than the fiction, and it's very true. So basically, this aura around us, or this biomagnetic field, actually expands or contracts. So when we're feeling a bit low, or we're stressed, or even we've got physical pain, this aura, it shrinks. It's got holes in it. It's almost like our energy's leaking, and we feel low and our mood is off. We feel drained and feel like things aren't just not going right. However, when our biomagnetic field is high, strong, it's like almost like a force field. We're on a high vibe, we're happy, people can pick up on this. You feed off other people's energy, right? You might not even be conscious of it. But I think pretty much most of us have had an experience of maybe walking into a room full of people who are, maybe you're at a party and the vibe is high, the music's good, people are laughing, enjoying themselves, walking in, you're like, yeah, man, I can get into this. I feel good. Similarly, I think most people have had an experience where you walk into a room and you can just feel like something's off. People are very somber or sad, and you can just pick up on it. Even just looking at someone, you can just tell, are they in a good mood or in a bad mood? Like there's something off about that person, because their energy field is not on the same level as your resonance. So your body or your energy, your intuition is just like, we can't really resonate with this person, let's just move away. Okay, so everything is energy, and that's why it is so vital that you look after your own energy. I always say that, mental health is actually more important than physical health, because everything starts in your mind, and it's important you have a healthy mind. But also, because everything is energy, it's equally as important, and if not more important, to look after your energy field, because everything starts from energy. So it's good to look after your physical health. I'm not saying don't ever do any physical exercise. It's really important to move, because that actually gets the energy moving around our body. But it's also important to do things like meditation, mindfulness, energy healing practices like Reiki. So a lot of people don't realize that Reiki is just a generic term or a type of energy healing. So it's like saying Hoover. Hoover's just a brand of a vacuum, but it's become such a generic household name. It's like, oh, I'm just going to go and do the Hoover. Actually, you're doing the vacuum, because Hoover is a brand of the vacuum. Now, I have a Shark vacuum cleaner, so I don't go around saying I'm going to shark the house. I still sometimes say, oh, I'm just going to give it a quick Hoover. So that's a bit like Reiki. So when people say the term Reiki, oh, I've done Reiki, or I'm a Reiki practitioner, or oh, I've had Reiki before, 99% of the time, they're talking about the most commonly known form of Reiki therapy, which is called Usui Reiki, and it was named after the Japanese master who made Reiki popular, I think, back in the 90s. So I'm actually trained in 7 different styles of energy healing and Reiki, including quantum Reiki, which kind of collapses timelines, so you get results very, very quickly. And now this is the reason why I call it intuitive Reiki. It's different to standard Reiki because, like I said, 7 different styles of energy healing modalities, and I'm a Usui Reiki master, which means that I teach Usui Reiki, which is the standard style of Reiki, but I'm also an angelic Reiki master. So I also teach angelic Reiki. I've also done quantum Reiki. I do color healing, sound healing, intuitive psychic healing, ascended master healing as well. So lots of different types of energy healing modalities, which when I connect with my clients, I kind of hold the space. I don't actually do the healing. I'm just like a channel or a bridge that's holding a safe environment, a protected environment. It's very important when you're doing any kind of energy work that is protected and a clean environment. And I mean energetically clean. You've got to protect your space. You've got to protect your energy. You've got to protect your client's energy. So I'm very big on energy hygiene, energy protection. I do teach this as well to people because I always get asked this, oh, don't you feel drained after doing so many sessions? Like when I was at the NEC show, I was doing like 5-minute taster sessions and I literally was like, it was so popular. I was back to back to back to back. I had 15 minutes for lunch and 1 or 2 toilet breaks for 2 days straight. And everyone's like, oh my God, you're not drained? I was like, no. If anyone's feeling drained after doing a session, that means something's gone wrong there. Tell them to come and talk to me because I will teach them how to protect their own energy, protect the client's energy, disconnect properly and cleanse properly, because you should not be using your own energy, because I'm the same as you. I'm just a human. We're not just humans. We are humans. We're very powerful humans, but I'm no better than anyone else. But I just know how to protect my energy, channel high vibrational energies. And those are the energies that help your own body heal itself. So I always remind people, they call me the 1-minute healer, but you are also healers as well. Our bodies are amazing machines, incredible machines. Like you cut yourself, you don't sit there and pray or wishful think or ask it to heal itself. Your body just knows what to do. So I'm able to just accelerate that for you through the work that I'm able to do. And because of the quantum Reiki, I'm able to get results very, very quickly. Where a traditional Reiki treatment lasts maybe 60 to 90 minutes, I'm able to get the same results with 30 minutes, but even in 10-minute sessions as well. When I work with companies and corporates for like quick booster sessions, you don't have to use up all of your lunch break to do a wellness session. It can be done very quickly and you get really good results. I also use my intuition, which was quite heightened from birth, as you may have heard from my previous episodes. It also plays a big part in the treatment, and I'm able to connect and channel high vibrational energies and frequencies. It's a bit like on the spectrum of sound and light. Humans can only perceive a very small fraction of what is available out there. So dogs and cats and bats, they can hear frequencies that we just cannot access. And like animals, insects can see colors that we will never be able to see. So, there's a vast frequency of energies out there, both high and low, and I only ever work with the highest possible vibrational frequencies. And I can teach this as well, so anyone can do this. So the other thing I do get a lot is, how does it work? As I said before, we are all healers. We tend to forget that every night when we go to sleep. Bodies are in recovery and rest mode. Our cells regenerate, they repair themselves. When your brain is in delta or theta state, while we are in sleep mode, your body can then repair itself. So what I'm able to do in a session is actually get your body into a delta and theta-like state very quickly, and then guide these high vibrational energies through to your energy and help your body to heal very quickly. That could be a physical healing, it could be a mental healing, emotional healing, or even sometimes a spiritual healing, or a combination of all four. So technically, you're doing your own healing, but I'm just helping you with the help of these high vibrational energies that use me as a conduit. And I just guide the energies and make sure that only positive high energies are used through the session, making sure that you're disconnected and no heavy energies are left in you. That's really important as well. So another question I get asked is, well, how do you do it remotely? I say to people, you really don't need to be physically in contact with someone to affect their energy. I think, again, most people can relate to this analogy. I'm sure we've all had those spam callers asking if you have been involved in a car accident and you might be entitled to compensation. You hang up the phone call and you're left feeling like quite frustrated and annoyed. You've never seen the person, you don't know their name or anything, but they've negatively affected your energy. On the other hand, you may have entered a competition on your favorite radio station, and you get through and they say, hey, congratulations, you're the 100th caller. You've just won £10,000. You've never seen that person. You don't know the name. But yet your energy has been affected in the most positive way by a stranger. So that just goes to show you do not need to be in front of someone, and you don't physically need to touch them in order to affect their energy. And so that's how a remote session works. I have clients in 6 different continents all over the world. I get amazing results for them just by connecting with them via a video call, and sometimes even just by a photograph if they can't make a live call. So during the lockdown, I was doing free energy healings, actually, because I was still very blessed to have kept my medical job, even though we weren't allowed to go into hospitals. We were trying to get PPE equipment to hospitals. So I was working from home. So I thought, so many people have just lost their jobs overnight. And what can I do to give back? Because I'm really grateful that I still have a paying job. So I actually then started just doing energy healings remotely. I'll be very honest, I didn't think it was going to work. Even though I'd been trained in it, I was like, never done it in like the 5 years since I'd been trained. I can't charge for it because what if it doesn't work? But I was just asking for testimonials. And I remember the first the first client I got was all the way in New Zealand. I was like, brilliant. Thank you, universe. Could you get any further? A little friend's reference there for you. And I was like, great. I'm going to get my first bad review because it's probably not going to work. And then I was genuinely shocked when I started picking up on things and I was like, okay, I can feel this. I had a message. I was like giving a feedback. And then I shared those feedback with my client and she was like, how did you know? And she was like, yeah, I felt this and I saw this and that. I was just like, whoa. Oh my God, it actually does work. And then obviously, the more I did, the more like convinced I was like, this actually does work. It's amazing. Anyway, the follow-up question I usually get when I've explained that is, well, surely in person is better because you get better results, right? And actually, the answer is no, because sometimes a remote session works better because the person's actually more comfortable in their own space. They're naturally more relaxed. And the more relaxed you are for your session, the better results you'll get. It's understandable, though, if it is your first time experiencing anything, you might be a little bit nervous or anxious. So sometimes that's why people like to see me in person first, get to know what they may feel or may not feel, because everyone's different. And that way, then, if they want to go home and have a remote session, they can. And also, everybody doesn't always love the environment they're in at home. Sometimes they like to physically come out of their space. And so not everyone's home environment is always their safe space. And so I totally appreciate that. But you get great results, as long as you're open to receiving it. I say to people, you can be skeptical. I was skeptical at the beginning, but you definitely need to have an openness and willingness to give it a try because your mind is so powerful. If you decide, oh, this is not going to work for me, guess what? The chances are it's not going to work for you because that's how powerful you are. This is why I keep reminding people, you are fucking powerful, man. Like, you tell yourself you can do it, there's a higher chance you can do it. But if you keep telling yourself, no, can't do it, can't do it, can't do it, guess what? You're right. Self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So what else do I get asked? Oh yeah, therapy uses, what it can be used for. Pretty much anything, really. This is why I love it so much because it ticks pretty much every single box. It helps with physical pain, emotional pain, mental clarity. It can actually help with manifestation as well because it just you're removing all these energy blocks. Like, it's crazy. Like, even I'm learning new therapy uses as the years and days go by. Like, as I record this episode, just this morning, a client of mine, we were doing some energy healing for him and he was worried about money and things and his finances. And I said, listen, we've removed some stuff, but you also have to do some work as well. Like, there's only so much I can do for you. You're powerful, so you need to work with me. And this is what I do with my clients. We work together, right? And gave him a little mantra. The next day he was like, I can't believe it because I just found £5 in my pocket. He was like, I just didn't, it's like a random thing. Like, it's so crazy. Like, money's just starting to pop up everywhere. And I was like, oh, this is good. Some people have even noticed that their businesses and relationships have transformed, attracting clients that they never thought they would. But the reason for that is because we're working on your energy and your biomagnetic field, we're removing any heaviness and we're like making sure that your energy is up the optimal level. Then people are just naturally drawn to you. Clients just want to work with you. People just want to talk to you. And you almost start glowing. I've had that as well. This guy, I remember, came for a session. He went to a networking event afterwards and people were asking him, oh, have you had a facial? Like, you look glowing. And this is a guy, he's not wearing any makeup. He had literally just had a session and went straight to this networking event and people thought he'd had a facial. That's how much it can help. So you heard it here. Reiki can be your beauty regime. So there's lots of ways it can help. Chronic pain, stress, anxiety, grief, depression, mental distress, hormone imbalances, even palliative care. So I don't talk about this a lot, and I'll do a separate episode on this, but you can do energy healing for end of life because it helps to remove fear and it allows the body and mind to be at ease for the transition for the next chapter, because the first law of thermodynamics is energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transmuted. So everything in the universe is energy, including ourselves. We are energy. So when the physical material body dies, your energy body, it just gets transmuted. It goes into a different form. So anyway, everybody has their own belief systems about this, but this is just mine. So don't come at me with all your other stuff, man. Like, let's just respect everyone's beliefs. This is my belief. And yeah, it is what it is. So the other thing I wanted to mention quickly before we end this episode, chakras. Because the word chakras are often used when people mention Reiki, and there's a good reason for that. So chakras, I should say it the proper way, shouldn't I? I shouldn't anglicize it. So chakras are a Sanskrit word meaning wheel, and chakras are basically wheels that circulate the energy around our body. And like I said, your energy should be flowing the same way like our blood flows around our veins. Your energy should be flowing around your body nice and unrestricted. But like I said, life happens, shit happens, our energies get blocked, and these blocks can build up over time, and that energy block then can lead to physical pain. And a lot of the time, the reason why a lot of people are coming back to holistic healing methods is because, yes, Western methods have their place, right? And they treat the physical symptoms, they treat surface level stuff. Very few modalities go to the root. And it's actually a really good thing to use holistic therapies like Reiki or intuitive Reiki to heal at the root, and then you can use Western modalities to heal the surface level, and you work in unison together, and that way you get healing even quicker, and it's actually really beautiful. And that's one of the reasons that Reiki is now being used a lot more in hospitals around the world. It's used in cancer treatment for patients undergoing long-term chemotherapy. It started to be used in transplant patients as well. Again, a lot for relaxation and mindset, but it also helps accelerate the healing. The results are astounding, honestly. Okay, so back to chakras, sorry. There are many chakras for our bodies and actually even the environment around us, but let's just stick to the 7 main ones that are located down our spine. The root chakra is at the base, the sacral chakra is around the lower abdomen, the solar plexus chakra is just under the rib cage, and the heart chakra is in the center of the chest, and the throat chakra is in the head. Just kidding, it's in the throat area. The third eye is in the center of your eyebrows, also known as the Cyclops chakra. Actually, I shouldn't say that because somebody might just be Googling Cyclops chakra. That was just a really bad joke. And then the crown chakra is at the top of your head. And these all actually correlate to certain body parts, and they will have colors associated with them. They have crystals associated with them, and essential oils associated with them, and mantras associated with them. I will be doing an episode on each of the chakras with a chakra 1-minute meditation coming for Pride Month, because obviously rainbow love people, and the rainbows that I love are the chakras. So, I mean, I love all rainbows as well, but yeah, so I thought that would be kind of cool to do for June. Anybody else listening to this, please don't copy me. Actually, I don't care if you copy me, because imitation is the best form of flattery, isn't it? But yes, anyway, that's the plan, people. Okay, so this has been a slightly longer episode, so I'm going to wrap it up. If you do have any questions about Yusui Reiki, Angelic Reiki, Quantum Reiki, Intuitive Reiki, the one-on-one approach way, do just reach out. Maybe leave a comment in the reviews below, and then I can read them and reply to them. That would be great. So anyway, thank you again for listening. Really, really, really appreciate all the comments, all the feedback, all the shares. People have started sharing it on their socials and actually tagging people. And that's really what I love, when somebody's like, oh my God, what you said on your podcast, it really helped me, or it resonated with me, or I feel like that. And that literally lights me up, that I know that something I've said has helped someone. So as always, let's do a 1-minute meditation. And seeing as we're talking about Reiki, how about I just give you 1 minute of a little bit of energy healing. So please do close your eyes and then take a nice deep breath in through your nose, hold, and then release out through your mouth. And just say to yourself, either out loud or in your mind, I'm open to receiving this intuitive Reiki healing now. And just take a deep breath in. Hold for a few seconds and then breathe out through your mouth. I was feeling a lot of tightness in the chest area for a lot of people. We do carry a lot of pain and heartache and grief and trauma. Our heart does carry it a lot. So it's very normal to feel like a little bit of tightness when I'm sending a healing, and just under your rib cage as well. It's where we keep our feelings of self-worthiness and what we deserve, and that imposter syndrome sits there. So I hope you enjoyed that. Please do drink some good quality water, even though it was just a minute of healing. I am known as the 1 minute healer. It is quite powerful. You do need to stay hydrated and just flush out the negative energy, but also integrate the positive energy that I just sent in. So, wow, that was a long episode today, but I hope you enjoyed it. And please do rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast if you enjoyed it. If you do download it, it does count towards the ratings, but I'll be really honest, I don't care about that. I just really want people to enjoy it and get content from it, and just share it. Share it with somebody you think might enjoy it. Anyway, see you on the next episode. Sending you love, light, and blessings.